the second gas in his extractor. So he does have the 3 hatchery build, and that's the only thing I think that's really keeping him in the game. The fact that he did put that 3rd hatchery down, and he seems to have been able to just about hold his defense, and that's what's kept in his game. So July now sending a largish group, a medium-sized group of Zerglings down just to try and keep Rock in his base, to just give himself advanced warning of Rock's movements and give himself notice. He doesn't have a lot in terms of defense in his base to cope with a potential DT-Dove, and July managed to sneak a couple of Zerglings, and very careless by Rock, very careless, and July, oh my god, July almost throwing away all of his hard work, managed to sneak the Zerglings into the Rock's base. He's now seen the Forge spinning, he's might even be able to kill a probe here, and July actually manages to take out a probe, but a second probe kills off his Zergling. The Rock pushing forward with about 6 Zealots. July's got enough to defend against them. I'm not sure if the Rock has put down his Templar archives yet. I haven't seen any DTs out for him. July building more Sunkens. He's got enough units there, I think, to defend this. The Rock coming in with about... He's got speed upgraded Zealots, though. July only has the 1 Sunken. The problem for the Rock is that he can't really get us around. More Sunkens popping for July, and he's going to use the Zerglings. I think July is going to be able to defend this, and this might actually work really well in July's favor if he can kill off all of these Zealots. The Rock continued to stream in with more Zealots. July constantly blocking his ramp with only the 4 Hydralists. He realizes that if the Rock gets up the ramp, he's going to have a really tough time fighting him down. But July, with some great StarCraft, the Rock has managed to break through July's defenses, but at a great cost. And meanwhile, July has got higher Mutilus. So Mutilus pop for July. I'm not sure if Rock has got any air defense in his base. He's obviously seen the Mutilus now, so he's going to be able to defend quite comfortably against the Rock's attack. And Rock not sending the remaining of his Zealots in. So the Rock basically committed all of his Zealots into that attack and was not able to do too much damage to July. July's defense holds. Great defending for July. The Rock does have a couple of photon cannons. I don't think that's going to be enough because July's Mutualists are now streaming in, and the Rock doesn't have any air defense to speak of. That lone photon cannon is not going to be enough, and July's, with his legendary Mutualist Micro, is making mincemeat out of those probes. The Rock decides to try and counter with his Zealots, realizing that July's Mutalists are out, and he's basically trying to force July to bring his Mutalists back to defend because he doesn't have any air defense to speak of, committing himself to that speed dot attack. But now July's forced to bring the Mutalists back to deal with these Zealots because he hasn't produced more Hydralists or ground forces in the meantime. I'm sure he'll be producing more soon so that he can concentrate on focusing his attack on his opponent. I have to say, July is now in a very strong position in this game. The Rock really committed himself with that attack. He's managed to produce a Corsair and about 4 Dragoons, but I still think July's Mutalist Micro, another Corsair coming up for him, but I still think July's Mutalist Micro will trump him. July coming in once again for the Probe Harass, unafraid and completely not worried about those defenses. He's picked off one of the Corsairs already, and the Rock's forces are just water to July's Rock, ironically enough. He's now focusing on the Dragoons, trying to pick out that Corsair off. Both the Corsairs go down for Rock. He's lost one of his Dragoons as well, and this is going to be GG anytime soon. I don't think the Rock still has a Templar Archives up. The Rock bringing in a group of another 3 Dragoons in to reinforce his defenses, and just barely holding on. But July now in a very strong position. He's done significant damage to Rock's economy. He's got a fairly decent sized ground force as well to supplement his aerial attack force, and the Rock is going to really struggle to hold on now because July is going to be able to make a push for the front door because the Rock doesn't really have a lot in terms of defenses. That Photon Cannon just scouting out that Zergling that July was sending him to scout. The Rock has got a couple of Dragoons and a Zealot at his front entrance, but I don't think it's going to bother July too much because if he can get a couple of Zerglings up there, looks like he decided to not go ahead with the attack. I think he might have been able to pull it off if he had gone for it. The Rock really on the defensive. July able to roam the map at will with his Mutalists. He has to be careful though because the Rock is massing those Dragoons, and it won't be long before the Rock will be able to will be ready to make a push out off his own. And July has to be careful that he doesn't get caught outnumbered by his opponent's forces. He does have a decent number of Hydralists. I'm not sure if they're upgraded yet. I need to check that out. So a great game of StarCraft developing between these two players. Still reasonably balanced, I feel. Rock isn't out of it yet, but you have to give the advantage to July. Rock now trying to take his natural expo, but July's going to have something to say about that, I feel. And a game of cat and mouse, constant cat and mouse being played out between these two players right now. Rock trying to keep July's forces at bay while improving the economy. July just trying to deliver that killer blow. I think the fact that July has done so much damage to Rock's economy and has taken little damage to his own is probably what's going to swing it in July's favor in the end. He's now putting up his 4th and 5th hatcheries at his mid-only expo. He's continuing to amass a decent sized force of ground units, and he's got a few Sunkens in place as well. His Hydralists are upgraded. Looks like he's got 1-in-1 upgrades on his Hydralisk, and once again going in with the Mutalisk, killing a few more probes of Rock, constant harass, and Rock just not able to stop July's harass, and the Rock following July's Mutalisk in, and that was a ridiculous move by the Rock. He followed straight. He had to know that July was luring him into Hydralisk or Scourges, and he ran straight into July's Scourges. July's not going to return the favor, obviously. I think he managed to kill one Corsair there, but nevertheless, that is going to be towards July's advantage, and the Rock, still with the same tech that he had 5 hours ago, feels that he could probably win with that. I'm not so sure personally. July has now got his ground force ready to make that assault. It might be a little bit too early to make that assault, but I think he's going to try and use this pressure while he sets up a defense of his own. The Rock has got that 1 photon cannon up upon the Rab. July looks like he's going to commit everything. This is a do or die attack for July. Sometimes he does this and it's not really worth it. If this attack fails, July will lose this game, but the Rock has got his forces sitting on the 2 photon cannons, and looks like July is not persisting with that attack. Looks like he's content to just hold. And now July is going to go. As soon as he sees Rock's units move out, July coming in. He's got a massive group of Hydralisks, as well as Mutalisk supporting his attack. The Rock, I think, is going to win this battle. July trying to micro those Hydralisks, keep them out of range of the Dragoons while picking up the Zealots. He's managed to kill most of the Zealots down, and he's actually coming on top of this battle. But the Rock is going to retreat behind his photon cannons and use them for support. July, with some amazing micro, is actually just picking off Rock's units, and July with his upgrades and his micro is just tearing Rock's forces to just pieces. He's just destroying him completely. Reinforcements now pouring down from July. He's just going to wipe the floor with Rock right now. Rock having some speed loss popping out. He seems to have 1-1-1 upgrades as well, but it's clearly not enough against those massive group of Hydralisks that July's got. And July quickly now just pumping Hydralisks from his 5 hatcheries, and there's nothing the Rock can do about it. And July looks like he's going to deliver a comprehensive victory here. It looks like July was in a little bit of trouble after his initial Zergling rush failed, but he recovered really well, and I have to say he's looking impressive. He's looking good, in good form for this, and considering Considering this form, I was actually going to spoil the result of another game for you guys, but I'm not going to do that. I've just managed to catch myself in time. But considering this, I think no one is going to be discounting Julyzerg after this performance. He's shown he's just as solid as he's ever been, and I think whoever faces him in the next round is not going to be looking forward to it. And I'm saying that even though this is the best of one, he has not won the matchup yet. It is a best of 3. I'm saying it as if it was a best of 1, but I have no doubt in my mind that July will finish cleaning up Rock in the subsequent games on the next match day. So great game of StarCraft by Julyzerg. I do apologize to you guys for being away for so long and not really leaving any notice on my YouTube page, and I will try, if I have a planned absence, to let you guys know beforehand. I was just away on holidays with my wife, enjoying pretty much unlimited sex, and yes, I am unashamedly rubbing that in all of your faces, so sorry about, well actually no, I'm not sorry about it. What I'm sorry about though is that in exchange for that I had to go and watch the live performance of Britain's Got Talent, surrounded by about 2,000 screaming women. Not a pleasant experience, but nevertheless it was worth it, and I hope this game of StarCraft was worth it for you guys. Great game of StarCraft. I am really pumped up for match day 2, and I will see you guys there. This is Klazart. Thanks for listening.